Hey everybody, I'm back to talk about the latest episode of American Horror Story. Now, if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I will be here every week talking about the whole season of American Horror Story. Now, let's get right into this episode. So, picking up from the last episode, they're all looking for Flora. That is the whole theme of this episode. Where is she? What happened to her? And what's going on? So, you have the whole family there and they're out looking for her. And even the father, he shows up and he is looking for the little girl too. Now he gets very frustrated and he goes off on Lee and he's like, "What did you do with her? And I know you probably got her stashed somewhere and y'all just gonna up and leave and go to Mexico." And he just says this ridiculous idea about what really happened with their daughter. And he storms out of the house after he hemmed up Lee and pushed her down. And I'm thinking, Matt, you just gonna watch this dude push your sister down like that? But okay, whatever. To each his own. All right. But anyway, so after he leaves, y'all, the police comes back later on in a few hours and they come out and show them that Matt done got filleted. He was spread out on this little thing, honey, and he was all burnt up. And also, Matt, Lee, and Shelby, they found this house. And they were led to the house because Lee ran up on, okay, it was like this circle in the woods now. And it was a baby pig's head. And it was different pig parts. And it was all made up like a body, but like some of the body parts were made out of the little girl's baby doll. So they found a few of those things that led to a house. Now, in this house, it was all maggots and flies and spoiled meat and food and all kind of stuff. It was just an empty house out there. And so they got really nervous and scared about that. And then out in the shed, it was these kids, honey, that then got abandoned. And they had this and they were drinking the milk off of the pig. The pig was laying down and they were suckling on the pig and they were muddy and dirty and they couldn't speak. It grossed me out, okay? So they called the police and they came and got the kids and they tried to question the kids, but the kids can't even talk. Like they don't even speak. So they couldn't get anything out of them. And y'all, I was rolling when who comes through the door? The character Cricket. Now, if you are a Will and Grace fan, you already know why I was so happy to see him. The little short dude. Okay, I forget his name, the actor's name, but I love him. Oh my goodness, I love him. But anyway, so he comes in like a scene out of Poltergeist. I'm here to help y'all. So he tells them, I'm a psychic and I've helped people find their kids and I'm here to help you find Flora. So at first, nobody was really believing him, but through a series of events, they learned to trust him. So he went walking through the house, hitting his little stick, and he pointed out that Flora had been up there hiding, where she was playing hide and seek. So Lee was like, "Oh my goodness, how would you know that? You have to know something." Then he wanted to have like a seance in the house. Now, the only person who believed in him was Shelby because, she's more free thinking than the rest of them. So they sat down and they had this seance. And then here comes the butcher woman. Y'all know the woman I'm talking about, the one with the little hatchet or whatever, the one who was out in the woods filleting that man who had stolen stuff off the property, that Shelby had seen. Okay, she was in the house. When he went looking for Priscilla, he was calling on Priscilla because Priscilla was the one who led Flora away wherever they are, whatever. And the butcher shows up and she cuts a candle in half while they're all sitting there. And it's like, okay, y'all have to believe that there's spirits in this house. But Matt, he's still not trying to believe it. Lee, she kind of believed it. Shelby was like, yep, this really happened, And so they get mad at him and fuss at him and tell him to get out. And he's like, you know what? I'll be back. But they got mad because he said, y'all gonna have to give me a few G's if y'all want me to help you. But tell me, what do y'all think? Do you think that it was right for him to ask for money for his services? I thought it was perfectly fine because at the end of the day, without him, y'all wouldn't even know half of what y'all know now. He really does provide a service. Why should he come up there and do it for free? Come on. Like, that don't even make sense. But because, Matt is skeptical of him anyway, Lee is really not believing him. So they think, I'm not paying you for nothing. So Lee pulls out a gun and, she threatens him. And anyway, he ends up leaving. But as he's walking out the door, he whispers something to Lee and it changed her whole face. What he whispered was that Emily wanted to know why she stopped looking for her. Now, Emily was Lee's first child, and she was young when she had her. So they were out in public one day, and Lee walked off for just a second, and Emily got kidnapped, and she disappeared, and they never found her. So the fact that Cricket knew about that led her to believe that he must know something about what he's talking about. So she goes to visit him, and she gives him the money, and he says, okay, I'm going to help you find your baby. Now, on when Lee was leaving the house the first time, he said that he got a lot of images, like all the spirits kind of downloaded this information to him. So he found out the backstory of the butcher. Okay, so back in the day, in that area, there was a colony of like 116 people, and they all disappeared out of thin air. Like, nobody knows what happened to them. But the butcher was actually the governor's wife, and the governor had went back to England to handle some business. And while he was gone, the settlers were starving a little bit. She was trying to make sure that everybody got fed and they were taken care of, but obviously the people were not happy, especially the men, and they banished her from the area. They put this head device on her, and it had spikes on it, and they sent her out into the woods to die, really. And her own son couldn't do anything to stop them. Like, he didn't stand up for her, he just let it happen. And so she got out into the woods, and she was out there for days. Of course, she was starving and she was thirsty. She had this contraption around her head. Her hands were shackled to it, so she couldn't like feed her. She couldn't do anything. And so while she was out there, this boar, pig, whatever it is, was chasing her. And as she's running from it, she hears it get slaughtered behind her. And then this woman appeared. I'm going to call her the pig lady. This pig lady appeared, and she was holding the beating heart of the pig, and she told the butcher to eat it. And so the contraption like unsnapped on her head miraculously, and she gave her that heart, and the butcher ate it. So I guess that gave her some kind of magical powers. It did something to her, okay? And so the butcher went back to her little colony, honey, and she went to chopping people up. Like, oh, y'all just gonna send me out in the woods, huh? Leave me for dead, huh? Okay. So she chopped up a few people. She told her son he better not never go against her ever again. And basically that's her story. She ruled with a firm hand, and something happened to all those people. Like, they disappeared. But she's there protecting her land, and she will kill anybody who is there on the land, and that house that they live in happened to be on that land. So while Cricket took all of them out there in the field again, in the woods, the butcher and her people showed up again, and it was just messed up because Cricket was the only one that could see them. So Cricket told her that if she got Priscilla to bring back the little girl, Flora, then they would leave, they would make sure nobody else came back, and they would burn that house down. And Shelby was like, what you mean? You can't just be saying that. We ain't agreed to that. And Lee was like, yes, we have. Me and Matt, we agreed to it. We will burn this whole house down, and we will get up out of here just to get my baby back. So right when she says that, Shelby looks over to Matt to be like, man, what the heck? But Matt is gone. He disappeared. So Shelby, of course, she goes looking for him. And oh, yeah, what she found. So she walked up on the wrong thing, honey. So here she is walking through the woods. She done walked up on these two guys. Let me find a nice way to say this. She walked up on these guys pleasuring themselves. Okay? They were watching something. And what they were watching was the pig lady and Matt doing it. Okay? In the woods. So, naturally, Shelby runs off, and she's all, pissed off and mad and upset. What is my husband out here doing with the whole, what's going on here? So All of them eventually go back to the house. Now, Matt doesn't remember any of it. He don't even know what Shelby is talking about when she confronts him, once he gets to the house. And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, "Yeah, I saw you out there sleeping with that woman. Who is that woman?" He's like, "Sleeping with somebody. What are you talking about?" So he just don't know nothing. And then the police show up and they put handcuffs on Lee. And Matt just looks at her like, "What did you do?" And she was like, "I didn't do nothing." So now you calling the cops on your sister-in-law because you saw your husband out there banging some chick. Like, really? That's what we do? So do y'all think Matt really forgot what happened? Do you think that Shelby overreacted? Of course, I think she overreacted. But at the same time, what is she supposed to think? Like, she went into the woods and she saw her husband sleeping with some wild chick. Like, what is going on here? What are you doing? But at the same time, is that consistent to what your husband does? Like, is this normal? You're not in a normal environment, girl. All this stuff is paranormal. Things are happening around you. Why would you just assume that he was out there doing that on purpose? Like, is that something that your husband like to do? Do he just randomly call up hillbillies and go, "Hey, come watch me have sex with people"? Like, is that something that he does? If not, girl, you need to stop and listen to him. Now, of course, anytime, you would catch your man doing something with another woman and other people are watching and things of that nature, okay, it's gonna make you feel some kind of way in your feelings. I understand that, girl, but at the same time, look where y'all at. So her getting mad and calling the cops and all this stuff, come on. And what they gonna arrest her for? What did she do? Really? What did Lee do? That's illegal that would warrant her being hauled off to jail. I don't know. But anyway, y'all, these are the things that happened in this episode. If I left anything out, please leave me some comments below and let me know what I left out. And we'll keep the conversation going, okay? And I will see you all in the next video. All right. Bye.